Right now, Pittsburgh's best sports show is about to begin. Call us or tweet us. We got things to talk about on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call.
All right, thanks, Susan, and thank you for tuning into the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. Rich Walsh alongside Gene Collier for this one. Give us a call. 412-575-2600 is the number. We're talking about the Ballin Buccos if you want to call in about the Steelers, and they wrapped up their second week of OTAs today. But the Pirates, hopefully they don't blow it again like last night, Gene. The Pirates are up 4-0 right now. Polanco, another game and another double. That's 3 doubles in 2 games. Maybe he's fixed. Maybe he's out of his slump, Gene.
And maybe not, Richie.
Maybe not. Hey, yesterday Rod and I were talking, in the 9th inning, saying how the Pirates are going to get a win and wrap things up, and they had a 3-run lead. Then all of a sudden, Felipe Vasquez gives up 5 runs, and I really thought that was going to be one of those points that you could really pick out in a season where it was a turning point in the season where it would just be another free fall. Yeah,
it looked like a really devastating loss, especially because, Vasquez did not get an out in that inning. The Cardinals scored 5 runs without making an out to win 10-8. So, it looked like that might be a hard one to come back from. They seem to be okay for the moment, but there are 6 outs to go with the Pirate bullpen, and sometimes those outs never come.
Yeah, especially with the Pirates bullpen. Now, Stephen Brault was warming up, so he's going to come in at least for the 8th inning. Vasquez is not available today, but, I read a story actually in the Post-Gazette today. Bill Brink wrote the story because he's on the road with St. Louis talking about he thinks, not Bill Brink, but Vasquez thinks he might be tipping his pitches. Now, maybe he has 4 blown saves and 6. Maybe other teams picked up on it. I just think he's going through one of those stretches.
Well, something's going on. He may be tipping his pitches, but he may also be experiencing wild fluctuations in his velocity. That's going on.
Yeah, I saw that.
He's got no command, no real idea where those pitches are going. Last night he was really left to throwing what gets called a get-me-over breaking ball. That thing was hammered. He really had nothing. Now, the time before he went out, he won he saved the game the day before, 2-1. But prior to that, he had 3 blown saves. He's had 4 blown saves in his last 5 appearances.
All right. Speaking of pitching, and Taillon still in there, 8th inning. He's 7 scoreless right now. Polanco actually made a great play in right field for the first out. We don't see that normally, but Taillon, this is one of his best starts I've seen since going back to early April. I know he was 2-0 his first 2 starts, and his last win was April 8th. He has some good outings in between. Maybe his last one was probably his best one until tonight, but he's in there in the 8th inning, and I think that's the right call. The guy's pitching well. He's scoreless. He had a no-hitter going through 4, right?
Yeah, and he's very capable. He has one of there have only been, I think, 4 complete games thrown in the National League this year.
And he has another pitch. I know he's tested out his first 2 outings in May and used it quite a bit last week, Sunday against St. Louis, and he's been using that new slider today. I think he seems comfortable with it, and maybe that's one of the reasons he's been pitching so well. That pitch seems to be working.
Right.
How hard, Gene, is it to develop a new pitch midway through the season, or do you think he had to do it because of just other things weren't working for him?
Yeah, I don't really know how important that extra pitch is. If you have great command of it and you can throw it in any count, obviously that helps. But as you said, it takes a long time to be able to have that much confidence in it. It looks like he has it tonight, but that comes and goes. Again, the Pirates are in a difficult spot because they have so many young pitchers in the starting rotation at the same time.
So Clint Hurdle also said today that Vasquez is in no jeopardy of losing his closer's role. Do you think you would?
Is.
Well,
yes, he is.
I think he is from the 4 blown saves, but he is their closer as of right now, and he gets the night off tonight. I'm sure you'll see him either tomorrow or on Sunday for the final game of this 4-game series.
Yeah.
But what do you do? Because they really don't have any other guy that really can fit that role. Is Crick a guy that you could go to as a closer?
When this happens, when you get 4 blown saves in 5 outings, any closer, I don't care who it is going to be in jeopardy. And sometimes you're ready with somebody else. Feliz figured to be a candidate for that, but he's kind of gone south too. So yeah, I mean, they could be in some jeopardy there. There's no doubt about it.
Rodriguez maybe was a guy that maybe a couple
but
weeks ago you
yeah,
could have said.
But he's kind of waffled a little bit too.
Yeah, so I don't know what they do. They're in trouble if he's not your closer. All right, we're going to take a break. We're going to get some phone calls. A couple lines open. 412-575-2600 is the number. Give us a call on the Bordas & Bordas hotline, the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. We'll be right back.